Hello everybody. It's been a minute since I posted a video, and why not do a new one? And what a better way to start this video by telling you that I am trying to sell this 2006 Lincoln Town Car for the second time. The first time I was asking 11 grand, and then I was a little bit ambitious, I admit, but it was probably the corona virus was getting to me, and all the prices, and the fact that I visited some dealerships and there were barely any cars. But I realized, this is not a prime. This is not an $11,000 example of a town car. But I think it's a pretty solid $7,000 example of a town car. So I'm going to try to do this again. Now, obviously, I'm not desperate to sell it. I don't really have. Whoops! I just got caught on a plant here. And by the way, I'm visiting a relative of mine. It's the same relative who drives this Toyota Prius C. So, but anyway, I digress. So, anyway, let's just start by saying that if that is your example of a perfect car, then you're probably not going to like this one. But if you're like me, who always wanted to drive one of these, and for one reason or another, you just couldn't, get yourself together. Maybe some circumstances were just not right. Maybe the price wasn't right. And now you find yourself in a situation, you know what? I think I want to pull the trigger. I think this would be a perfect, like a first car, for example, for somebody. Somebody who's not afraid of beating it up a little. And I don't mean with the lack of maintenance. I mean just, I scraped the bumper cover. So, you know what, I hit a stop sign a little bit here and there. So what? I curbed the wheel. Well, in my case, you don't have to worry about it. Just put some more Flex Seal on this. Yeah, you see, so what? Doesn't matter. So yeah, so I'm thinking offering this thing one more time for $7 grand. And I'm hoping that get some serious folks who can email me. My email should be in the description. And we'll see if we can make this work. Or maybe we'll consider a trade. We'll see about that. I mean, I haven't thought about it, but maybe that's the way to go. And obviously it doesn't have to be an even trade. Somebody can pay the other party the difference if we agree on. And so that's the purpose of this video. Everything that I've done, fixing it, please watch my repairs playlist, and then you'll see it. The most recent one I had was sorry, I'm trying to find a good enough angle to stand and try to see the screen in the bright sunlight today. And everything that I've done fixing it, there's a playlist for it. Everything that's more recent was the shifter cable snapped over this winter, which I fixed, obviously. I mean, I drive it daily. And then the most recent one is I swapped the battery in the alternator. So that's it. It runs, it drives. There's a few flaws on it, which I'll point out quickly here. And then you can make a decision. Some of this stuff right here is starting to happen. I didn't notice it for a while, and now I do notice it. So the chrome is starting to go a little bit, and I know it'll start spreading. You can kind of see it started happening here. A few scratches here and there. I've done a video where I've touched up a lot of this area in the beginning of the summer. So yeah, you see right here, a little chrome starting to come off. It's an 06. It's my daily driver. It's got 114,600 some miles. So we'll do a segment of me driving it, so you'll see what it is. I have plenty of videos on it, so I'm not gonna go over and there's a little touch up here. I'm not Anthony from SpecialtyMotorCars.net. All these things right here, these are seedlings from a tree. So probably putting it through a car wash would probably do it some good. You guys know about this. There's a video on that, why it's like this. I'll point out a few major things, or maybe more major than average, is you get a little bit of bubbling right here. Now I touched it up. I've tried kind of cleaning it a little, but yeah, it's happening. There's no way of hiding it. You guys, I've made plenty of videos on it, so I'm not gonna go back and erase the videos, pretending maybe the would-be buyer wouldn't notice it. Yeah, I'm not trying to hide anything. And you have the two-tone combination. It's from my budget rust repair. So once again, plenty of videos on that. Go watch them if you're curious. Yeah, like this. Oh, well, I don't know how well you can see it. Yeah, like a little moisture is in there. It dries out, then obviously it rains, it goes back in there. Let's see, I don't know if chrome is around here. No, chrome around here, it's a little coming off, which is weird because it's painted. It's like painted chrome, you see? So the chrome is fine. It's the paint around the chrome that, that fails. You do have the automatic trunk feature because it's a signature limited. It works. You can see my my crap, my extra floor mats and stuff. So it does work. I do have 2 keys and 2 remotes for it, and I do have a remote start. It doesn't want to focus, which I did at the Best Buy installation. All the letters are there. This side, actually the bubbling doesn't seem to happen on this side. It's for some reason on the other side. I don't know why. I'll pop the hood for you in a second. Tires, they're still good. Let's see. Let's do this. Sunroof doesn't leak anymore. I fixed that years ago. Well, maybe 2 years ago. The leaking stuff that I had happened, that was fixed like a year and a half ago. Hasn't leaked inside since. The hood handle was popping up. That got fixed. It's dirty, so you can see my new battery, my new alternator. It's dirty. Filter I checked, it's clean. So yeah, all the fluids. I mean, as far as I know, nothing is leaking at this moment. That doesn't mean that it's not going to start leaking soon, but yeah, there it is. Nothing leaks. Headlights I've replaced, and because they were fogging up, but it hasn't since. Yeah, there it is. I have plenty of videos of it running, so and we'll go on a drive, so you'll know what it is. Right here, you got the hood ornament. It's still standing. There's a little bit of moisture inside this emblem, and I know there's plenty of like kits you can get, and people 3D print them all the time. So, all right, yeah. So it's kind of what I was saying. For somebody like me who always wanted one of these, or like a Cadillac or a Chrysler, whatever suits your fancy. This is the car for that person. A car for somebody who likes these, obviously. You probably don't want this. You want something else. So yeah, so we're gonna go $7,000. We'll see if I can get any offers. Obviously, if you want to give me $2,000, I don't want that. But if you just want to shoot me an email and BS a little, yeah, we can do that. I'm game. And I'll point out a few flaws on the interior when we go for a drive. All right, so here we go. Let's go for a drive. The door code does work, and I do know what it is. Seats, I fixed them probably the first few months that I owned the car. There was some wear marks, and some of it is still here, because obviously as your butt slides in, as my butt slides in and out, it wears it down. But over the last couple of years, I mean, it hasn't really been horrible, but it's the normal creases and stuff, and I stuffed the underside of the driver's seat with foam from like a couch or something. So obviously it was bent the other way from years of probably guys who are heavier than me sitting in it. As far as the rest of the stuff, like this was a Gorilla Glued by someone before me. Obviously this started probably popping up at some point, and it's been fine. Oh, somebody's alarm was going off, and you can kind of see like right here. I noticed that a few weeks ago, well, maybe a couple months ago, when I made my last video, that this is happening here in the back. It all works, like the power windows, locks, mirrors, all that works, but it's happening here. Minor thing, but it's from the fact that this car is most likely never been garaged. And yeah, I don't have a garage. This is not my house. So my car lives outside. So there you go. Starts nice. Okay. So close it up. Well, come on, focus. 114,674, and it doesn't flicker in real life. Yeah. So here we go. have a few extra of these door pulls. I know I've been talking for years about replacing this one, but I don't know, like every time I'm like, it's still fine. Like, yeah, it's got a little wear and tear, but it's still fine. All the caps I still have. So I still have a few extra parts of these. So yeah, there it is, full tank. I drive it daily. I used to drive it a lot more, but like the last year my commute back and forth is probably like 18 miles, so haven't really driven it. But I bought it with 89,000 miles, right? So 24, well, maybe I mean, I'm sorry, like 15,000 plus 11, so I put on 26,000 miles on it, you know. So doesn't really not a lot. Now doing this, okay, needs an oil change in 38%. All this stuff is good. Air suspension, fine, it works. System okay. Park 8 on. That's it. As far as the percentage, yeah, it's got 114,600. My next oil change, whoops, is that 117,000. The most major flaw in the interior, I can tell you right now, is the blend door thing. Now the AC works, the heater works, but I've made plenty of videos on this. As basically right now, this vent works like, oh, well, I should probably start with this. Look where I have my setting for the defrost, and the AC comes out from the dash. Now for me to make, if I press this button for the dash, it'll start coming from the feet. So obviously it's the blend door actuator thing that got messed up. So the bottom line is this car does not have defrost. Now I live in Illinois. It gets really hot during the summer months. It's probably not as hot as some of you folks in California, Arizona, Texas, or whatnot. But it does get, you know, hot enough to be a bad situation if you don't have AC. So I do have AC. You're gonna have to trust me that the AC, pretty cold AC, is coming out of the vents right here on the dash, but yet it's supposed to have defrost. So in the summertime, defrost doesn't really make any difference, but in the wintertime, the last winter that I drove this, and by the way, it's been happening for about the last year. So around this time last year, it happened. So I did drive through the winter months. So what I've been doing the last winter, I buy a few spray bottles of the de-icer, and I spray the windshield, and I let it basically sit in this position here, and the hot air does defrost it combined with the de-icer, and then I just scrape it a little. Now it's annoying, I get it, but at the same time, I was quoted anything from $800 to fix it to $1,200 to $1,500. And I'm just not going to do it, period. If I have to drive this car for another season or 2 or 5 or whatever the case may be, I'll keep buying bottles of bottles of de-icer, spray, scrape. I do have a remote start, so I do have the heater on, and it works fine. There's just something inside me that is preventing me from spending the money. Although I've spent plenty of money on other fixes, but this one I will refuse. So if I want more AC coming out of the dash, I'll do it like this, and it does blow. Oh, nice. I shut off that vent as nobody really sits in this seat, so I have a lot of air coming through here, a little bit less here, and even more or less here. But combined with these 3 vents, and then these vents, so when I drive my kids, as you can see, I do have 2 car seats there. Yeah, the AC does come out of here pretty cold, but obviously I shut it off when it's just me in the car. Yeah, so that's the most major flaw in the interior. Other than that, I know some people hate this cover, but it's not glued on, it's stitched on. It was supposed to be a full, you know, circular cover, but because I do have a Signature Limited with this wood steering wheel, I cut them. But because I cut them and it wasn't designed to be cut, it started sagging. You see how it kind of did it here? Not so much here. So I stopped it, and I took kitchen shrink wrap, just thin piece of it, wrapped it around, preventing it from sliding back. Some people like it, some people hate it. If the would-be buyer decides to take it off, just cut the stitching, it comes off. There's a little bit of wear, like right in this area, from people grabbing this side from over the years. But you know, that's just me. I would rather have this where I don't have to worry about damaging the steering wheel even further. But yeah, everything else, I mean, the buttons work for the temperature, as you can see. Volume, all these buttons, they do work. Cruise control works. You know, trunk popper, work. These work. Seats work. Heated seats work. Memory works. Everything works on the inside. Sunroof does work. There you go. And it doesn't leak. And it's a factory sunroof, as you can see. So, all right, let me back out of this parking lot. We'll go for a drive. Alrighty, here we go. Drives nice and quiet. What can I say? Now, I guess I could answer the question, why am I selling it? Or why do I want to sell it? See, I'm not selling it right now because nobody's buying. But basically, you know, so I bought this car December 24th of 2019. I always wanted a big American car. I used to have 2010 Buick LaCrosse. I know I mentioned it in several videos. Yeah, I always had a love for these cars, and I still do. The thing is that, you know, this car obviously is not getting any younger, and at some point it will require, you know, a lot more love and care that I can give it. Simple as that. So, plus I did have an addition to our family, so now I'm a dad of two. My youngest one will be what? Well, she's already 10 months old, so I have an older kid. He's 6 in a few months now. So yeah, I understand that you know, this car's not getting any younger. It will require more maintenance. So, and I want to, I mean, I don't want to say that I want to sell it to somebody who will love it and cherish it forever, because I obviously have no control over it. But I know that I will need a bigger car. And when I say bigger, I don't mean a bigger sedan. I mean, it's just a reality that, you know, my wife has a Forester. I have this town car. We probably will need a minivan or a larger SUV. Like, I'm not the type of guy who's like, oh, minivan, oh my God. No, I don't mind. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. I have no idea what's going to happen, you know, with the economy. Are we going to have our jobs? Are we going to have our lives? Is the monkeypox going to kill us all, right? We don't know any of that stuff. But realistically speaking, I think, you know, I do want to get maybe something a little newer, maybe something a little safer. You know, says a guy who really wants to get, you know, a newer town car or a newer Cadillac or something like that. But we'll see. But the bottom line is, I hope that I could sell this car to somebody who will love it, and maybe I'll see it in a few more years. Maybe we'll become best friends with the guy or girl who buys it, and, you know, puts in some of the time and energy and money that this car will need in the next 5 years probably, and that's it. And I'll get something else. Now, I don't know what I'm gonna get. I test drove a Chrysler 300. I didn't really like it. I test drove a new Buick LaCrosse, which I know doesn't help the situation of getting a larger car, like something like this Expedition that's driving around. But we'll see. You know, that would be part two, is figuring out what to get. But other than that, it's, you know, currently, you know, the radio works, the clock works. You have all this, you know, these things work on the dual side. We'll see what happens. So anyway, email me if you want to see it, if you want to drive it. If I don't sell it now, again, I'm fine with it. I'll keep driving it. Maybe I'll try and sell it the following winter. As far as the maintenance goes, I mean, I don't really do much with it. I change oil. I replace oil. We'll probably need brake pads before the end of the summer, you know, for the winter. I've replaced them a couple years ago, probably when I got the car. So there's that. Yeah, but I enjoy driving it. Like I said, it's my daily driver. I don't own another car that I drive. It's my only car. So there it is, guys. All right. Hope you guys like it. You guys watched a lot of you watched my last video. So, all right. I've been rambling. See you next time.